I have $1 million, but I feel like I don't have any money. Does that sound familiar? We have a lot of people ask that very frequently, and most of these folks are, we'll call them under 55, and most of the savings are tied up in retirement accounts, but you have very little cash or after-tax savings, and if that's the case, you're limiting your flexibility now and in the future. The trap is simple. We're going to call it retirement rich. You're retirement rich on paper, but cash poor when it comes to options today. Every dollar is locked away until you're 59 and a half. And when you finally can touch it, in most cases, we'll say the IRS is waiting. So what can you do today to avoid that trap? Here are 3 things that we can do right now to not be cash poor, okay, but also save for retirement. Obviously, both are important. First, we're going to get the match. If we have a 401k match, we have to grab that first. We're going to call it free money. Obviously, it comes from somewhere, but we're going to call it free money, and it builds the base for your retirement. Second, we're going to diversify your buckets. Don't just load up on tax-deferred accounts. We're going to balance between tax-deferred accounts, which is the 401k and the IRA. We're going to lower today's taxes. We're going to do a Roth, and it's going to grow tax-free for tomorrow. But also, this is what I find is missing the most. The gap that people have is liquid cash now, and we'll call it the taxable brokerage account. By the way, this could be CDs, money markets, high-yield savings accounts, other things, but I usually talk about these as portfolios in a taxable brokerage account. They're accessible anytime, okay? There's no penalties, and typically they're taxed as in a lower capital gains tax bracket, right? So we need to think about flexibility, not just growth. The goal isn't just saving more, it's saving smarter, okay? With the money spread across all of these types of accounts, you'll be able to engineer your retirement income and control your tax bracket instead of being stuck with whatever the government decides in the future, okay? So if you're under 55, don't just focus on how much you're saving, focus on where it's going. Let's build the balance now, and you'll thank yourself later. I usually get questions on, hey, I only have so much money. Totally get it. So if you are going to increase your retirement savings, what I tell folks is, hey, if you have another $200 to save for retirement, then we say, hey, what's the best place to save it? Okay, then we can choose, do we want to save it pre-tax? Does it make sense to save it into a Roth, or does it make sense to save it into a brokerage account? And then again, next year, you have another $100. Then a year later, maybe it's $200 more, something's paid off, and then it's $500. All of a sudden, you're saving a lot more. And typically what I find is we want to save it in those cash accounts so that it gives you options, right? Hope that makes sense. And until next time, make it a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Great Wealth Transfer Podcast. If this podcast resonates with you, reach out to 6 Point Financial Partners at 585-485-6048 or email dpulcini@sixpointfp.com.
Content here is for illustrative purposes and general information only. It is not legal, tax, or individualized financial advice, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any specific security or engage in any specific trading strategy. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Results will vary. Past performance is no indication of future results or success. Market conditions change continuously. Information here is provided in part by third-party sources. These sources are generally deemed to be reliable. However, neither 6 Point Financial Partners, Private Client Services, nor RFG Advisory guarantee the accuracy of third-party sources. The views expressed here are those of 6 Point Financial Partners. They do not necessarily represent those of Private Client Services, RFG Advisory, their employees, or their clients. This commentary should not be regarded as a description of advisory services provided by 6 Point Financial Partners or RFG Advisory, or performance returns of any client. The views reflected in the commentary are subject to change at any time without notice. Securities offered by registered representatives through Private Client Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered by investment advisory representatives of RFG Advisory LLC, RFG Advisory, or RFG. A registered investment advisor. Private Client Services, 6 Point Financial Partners, and RFG Advisory are unaffiliated entities. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where RFG Advisory and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advisory services may be rendered by RFG Advisory unless a client agreement is in place.